One Night Werewolf is a game that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, whether you're a gamer, whether you just love parties, whether you like game nights, or whether you even like board games. You've probably heard of One Night Werewolf. Now, if you're familiar with One Night Werewolf, you probably also know the many spin-offs of that game's concept. You know, there's Mafia, there's Town of Salem, the mobile game, and most recently, there's Among Us. Among Us, which was actually released 2 years ago in 2018, I'd never heard of it, has recently just taken Twitch by storm. You know, everybody seems to be playing this game right alongside Fall Guys. And, you know, as somebody who is looking to stream a little bit more on Twitch and also just have been playing games again, I decided to try Among Us out with some friends, and I gotta say, I've had a lot of fun in the game, but I think the game is definitely not without its faults. So naturally, I had to review the game. As someone who's very passionate about criticizing things that I enjoy, let's get into the pros and cons of Among Us. So right off the bat, I'm gonna echo something I already said. Obviously, Among Us, it's a very interesting twist of the One Night Werewolf concept. You know, a lot of times you'll play a game and it's like basically a 1v1 comparison to One Night Werewolf. They just change the name of the game and they change the name of the roles you can play. This game is very different. There's only 2 roles you can play. There's crew member and imposter. It's the job of the crew members to basically do a bunch of tasks on the spaceship that they're on, and the job of the imposter is to kill every single one of the crew members before they can vote the imposter out and they get thrown off of the ship. The crew members win if they are able to throw off, you know, all 2, 3, or even just one imposter. You can either have 1, 2, or 3 imposters. And if the imposters get thrown off, they lose. And the imposters win if they basically can outnumber the crew members on the ship. So if you vote someone off and they're not the imposter, and that makes 3 imposters and 2 crew members left, the imposters win. The tasks that the crew members do on the ship can range from fixing wires to scanning their admin cards to fueling the engines. It's several, you know, basic things you would do on a spaceship if you were a crew member. As an imposter, you get a list of fake tasks that you can fake doing, and instead you basically can only sabotage several key components of the ship, such as like the oxygen, the lights. You can turn off the lights, and in doing this, you can isolate, you know, survivors and kill them without being noticed. That's your job, kill people and not be noticed doing it. A big feature that imposters have that let them get around the map really quickly is vent systems, or cracks in the ground. In certain maps, there's vents you can pop in and out of that allow you to travel through the ventilation shaft and get into certain rooms, basically skipping hallways. So you can pop into a room, kill someone, pop into the vent. The downside of this is that this is a telltale way to give away that someone's imposter. If you as a crew member see someone coming out of a vent, you know that they're a killer. So yeah, you gotta be careful with that feature. There we go. Wait, what? I literally just saw a freaking pink vent after they killed blue.
Okay, well, and it's definitely pink.
I'm like 99% sure that was pink. Now, voting someone out has to be majority. The majority of players have to vote out who they want, basically to be ejected from the ship. Voting occurs when the round ends, and the round can only end in 2 ways. Either if someone reports a dead body, that'll cause the round to end, or if someone hits a button in the ship that will trigger an emergency meeting. So for example, if you don't find a body, but you saw someone pop out of a vent, call an emergency meeting and tell everyone else that you saw them pop out of an vent. You can majority vote the other person off the ship and you've just killed an imposter. Other ways to know that people have died are on some maps, I think it's only one, that has the lava pit. You can basically have a vital screen so you can see the vitals of each player, and it'll tell you if they're dead, alive, and that'll let you know that someone died. But the only downside to that is if you don't find the body, you can't really accuse anybody of committing the murder. One last feature I have to mention is the map feature, which you can find on the top right of your screen. Definitely use the map, because when I first started playing, I didn't use the map and it made it very hard to find out where certain places are. So be sure to open that map if you can't find a room or you don't know where your tasks are. Now that I've explained basically most of the stuff you need to know when you first start playing, it can be easily said that this is a confusing game when you first start out. Where is the garbage? This is the cafeteria, right? Oh, that was the garbage. This is what I had to do here. I think we go this way. Bro, I don't even know. I don't know where to go. There's gonna be several things right off the bat that you're gonna need to know to do well in the game that you won't. So for example, you're gonna need to know the layout of the map you're playing on so you can vouch for your whereabouts to other players to say, oh, I was in electrical fixing wires. If you don't know what electrical is and you don't know how to fix wires, it's gonna be very hard to kind of explain to people that, you know, that's where you were. Which is why you also need to know where to go to find your tasks. If you don't know that, you know, weapons is right next to navigation and you gotta go to weapons to do this certain task, you're gonna be wandering around for quite a while, not doing tasks, and it's gonna be easier for the imposters to kill you. And you're also gonna look suspicious because you're not doing anything. You also need to know how to play an imposter smart and efficiently. You have to know how to use your sabotage commands, you know, efficiently at the right moments, when to hit lights, when to use the seismic stabilizers. You need to know that when there's 3 people left, to immediately hit seismic stabilizers, you know, so that you can have the 2 people split into 2 and you can kill one of them. These are the stuff you're gonna have to know that you're not gonna know right off the bat, unless you watch this review. Not patting myself too much on the back, but you're welcome. But once you start to learn all these features, like how to play imposter, how to vent at the proper moments, how to kill people at the proper moments. So the story is gonna be that I went to electrical. Ah!
I don't know if I saw this right, but I think it was purple.
How to make yourself accountable, both as an imposter and a crew member, by knowing the map and knowing what tasks are done where, so you can get your tasks done faster, but then you can also vouch for yourself by saying, oh, I was doing this and here, and then you're believable. Once you figure all that out, you're pretty much good to go with Among Us. I highly recommend that when you first start playing Among Us, you play with your friends who are gonna know that you're new and they're not gonna hold the fact that you don't know how to play against you when it comes to voting. And that you also play with friends that are not as experienced, like they're not MLGs at the game. You wanna play with people when you first start out that are also kind of new to the game. It makes it easier for you. The good news is that once you start playing, it becomes an incredibly addicting game. So you're gonna wanna put in the time to really learn the maps and learn the best strategies to kill people, the best strategies to survive as a crew member. Yeah, it makes it very easy to learn the game very quickly, I'll say that. And this game can get really intense too, just as all the other kind of One Night Werewolf spin-offs do. Whoa! Okay, cafeteria.
Okay, it's Gianna. Okay, it's Gianna. No, it's not. Okay, I literally saw her. I literally saw her kill him right in front of me. She literally kills.
You know, you get people arguing with each other when it's 3 people left and you have to decide between 2 people and you don't know who the hell it is, and both people are screaming their lungs off trying to convince you that each of them isn't the killer. It can be pretty freaking heart pumping.
It has to be Badger. It has to be Badger. It has to be Badger. It's absolutely AO. I'm not voting Badger. It absolutely is AO.
Now, the good thing about starting out in this game is that as a crew member, when you first start, the tasks that you have to do are actually pretty easy to figure out. How do I do this? I'm so stupid. Most of the tasks for me, I was basically able to figure out how they worked in about 15 seconds. The only one that really gave me trouble, as it gave a lot of people trouble I saw on Twitch, was the admin card, where you just have to find the right speed to swipe the admin card. How do I use this fucking card? Dude, I couldn't even swipe my card correctly.
I feel that though, I could never do it.
But I mean, I've seen a lot of people struggle with not seeing dead bodies when they're right in front of them and not being able to figure out certain tasks. So maybe I just have a certain knack for doing the tasks and I could figure it out easy. But I don't know, for me, they didn't seem that hard to pick up. So when you first start playing this game, you're not gonna have to, you know, spend 3 hours, 4 hours trying to figure out how to do these tasks. You could pretty much get them right away. Another very cool feature that Among Us has is just how customizable the games are. So if you host a game and you get put into a lobby and you're just waiting for the people to join, you can customize some settings in the game. You can set the imposter kill cooldown to a certain amount of seconds. You could put it at 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 50 seconds. You can change the amount of time people have to vote, to discuss who they want to vote off the ship before they actually clock in their votes. I usually play at 120 seconds. You can, once you make the game, you can set the amount of imposters. There's a lot of things you can do. Now, while you can edit most of these settings from the game's lobby, like when you join into a game, you're waiting in the lobby with the server code. There's certain things you can't. So for example, the number of imposters, if you want to change the number of imposters to make it more or less, you have to have everyone back out of the lobby. Then you have to host a new game with a new lobby, have everybody wait for everyone else to join. Granted, if it works, which I'll get to later, and then you'll have a new number of imposters. That's the only thing annoying about that whole custom settings thing. A super cool thing about Among Us is that it's a very cheap game. It's only like $5 on Steam, completely free if you play on your phone. So it doesn't break your bank to really get this game if you want to stream it, which is why you'd have to get it on Steam, is if you want to stream it or play on your computer. But if you're just playing with friends for fun, get it on your phone. Apparently it's free. But that's one of the many plus sides to this game, is like casual gamers that don't want to spend a lot of money on games can get this game. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy the many different like skins, hats you can put on your character. If you want to spend like a couple bucks on like getting little pets that follow you around in the game, that's kind of funny. There's a lot of different ways to make your character look unique, whether it be like really cool. But if we're really going to talk about Among Us down to the nitty gritty, I have to say there's a lot of things about Among Us that really disappoint me. The servers in this game are so abysmally bad. It is shocking. It is absolutely shocking how awful the servers in Among Us are. Like, I still, after playing this game for hours, I probably have 20 hours in the game, I still can't get over it. It's painful to even think about how terrible the servers are.
Guys, I literally can't host a game. It won't let me.
It's actually a pretty stable game.
Oh, yeah.
It never works.
Bro, this game is actual ass.
Yeah.
Fix your freaking servers.
Try peak hours.
In order to join a game, you have to enter a server code. If it's like a private game that's being hosted by somebody, if you enter the server code to the server, you can get into it. Well, the thing is, there will be times where someone will create the lobby, the host will create the lobby will be there, it'll exist, but you'll have to enter the code up to 15 times sometimes to just get into the damn game.
Tab.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Go to game.
Okay, got it.
So change crewmate vision to 0.75.
Okay.
And everything else seems fine.
Make sure you turn off the visual task. Turn off.
Yeah,
You'll just be putting the code in, server disconnected. Putting the code in, can't reach the server. Putting the code in, server full. It's a different explanation every single time, none of which makes sense because you know that the server isn't full. You're playing with it, it's your friends. He's telling you that there's freaking room in the lobby and the game just tells you differently. If this game could just fix its servers, it would actually be amazing. And a few times I put in the correct server code and got put into a lobby with completely different people. Like, I got into the lobby for the game, and it was just a bunch of people that I didn't even know. It wasn't anybody in my Discord call. The code was right, it was just, for some reason, there was another lobby with the same code. Like, how does that work? Shouldn't a different lobby for a different server be a different code? The joke's on us, the developers are the imposters. And very recently, a new update dropped for Among Us that increased the length of server codes. They added, I think, like 2 more letters that could go. So like the server codes are now, instead of 4 letters, it's like 6 letters. I think I'm getting that correctly. But the thing is you'd think that this would make more servers, the game would be more stable. Absolutely not. We were playing on the North American servers and the game completely just crashed.
Guys, XQC can't get in.
Buttons for fancies.
Nobody on Twitch can get in. I'm watching XQC.
That's pretty good. Either the servers completely crashed worldwide due to the new update, or everything just got filled up because it was a peak hour on a busy night. But still, this is, for a game that's been out for 2 years, these server problems are not acceptable if you want this game to be taken seriously. This almost made the game unplayable for us. It had only been like an hour into our play session and I was ready to quit. I was done. I was so demoralized. Luckily for us, the servers on Europe became available And even though those quickly filled up as soon as we had to switch servers to change the freaking imposters because you can't do it in the lobby, we could just switch to Asia after Europe got full, and then that worked. The ping was absolutely terrible, but it worked.
I'm in the Asian server and it's still not letting me in.
Oh, I got a 1500 ping. So yeah, Among Us, fix your freaking servers already. If you've been out since 2018 and it's 2 years later and your servers are still this bad, like if I have to put in a code 10 times just to get into the game and it takes me 20 minutes to get into the game, that's a problem and you need to address it. Because not only are there not enough servers, the stability of the servers are absolutely terrible, just dog shit.
Wait, I can't vote for some reason.
Name?
You have to click on the person.
I was disconnected from the server. Great.
Same here. So I win by default. The thing is, when you get into the servers, you're usually okay. But I have been kicked out of servers, like just disconnected out of nowhere for no reason. And so once you have to get into a new lobby and start a new game to play with your friends again, you just the sigh comes in because you know you're just gonna have to go through a headache of 15 minutes to even get into the damn game. Another huge setback to this game is it only has 3 maps. There's, I think the Skeld is the first one, and then there's 2 after that. I can't remember the names of them, but only 3 maps for a game that's been out for 2 years? You know, after a while, after playing these maps so many times, you're gonna get really, really good at them, and they're gonna feel maybe even a bit dry, a bit old. So for 2 years, I understand that it takes some time to develop the maps. You want to balance them. You want to make sure that, you know, aesthetically they're pleasing, that they look interesting, that the layout of everything makes sense. But come on, 2 years of time that you've had this game out, I expect more like 6 maps. Seems a lot more reasonable to me. Another minor problem with the game is that there is no in-game voice chat. There's absolutely none, like none at all. So if you go, let's say your friends aren't available, and you still want to play, so you can go online and play with randoms. Well, you're not gonna have the same experience that you would as if you played with your friends in a Discord call. While I've played other games, like Town of Salem, for example, only has text chat, and that game works, you know, pretty well with text chat. I don't think the same would be applied to Among Us. I've never played online with randoms using text chat to communicate, but there's a lot more that goes into Among Us than Town of Salem. Town of Salem, you just stand in a circle, and the only thing you have to do in that game is your one action that you get as whatever role you are. And Among Us, you have to worry about evasion, you have to worry about effective communication, you have to get people to trust you, you have to, you know, do tasks. There's a lot more that you have to do. And voice chat allows for quicker, more effective communication. With text chat, it's gonna be very hard to try and get suspicion off of you, I guarantee, because people can't hear the emotion in your voice. So I don't know if it's possible to get an in-game voice chat into this game, but I definitely think it's something that the developers should look into. To come right down to it, I think we can say that Among Us would be a near perfect game if it wasn't for the sheer amount of server problems that we as players still have to deal with 2 years after the game was released. Right now, for me, Among Us feels like a game that's gonna be popular for only like a few months, as you know, everybody streams it on Twitch, and then after people get tired of the same 3 maps and the gameplay starts to feel formulaic, it's gonna die out hard. Unless they fix the problems with the server connectivity, the fact that some nights there's not enough servers and the game gets full, and just the general server stability, I don't really see a lot of people sticking with this game for very long. Add more maps into the game so we don't get dried out playing the same 3. You know, I would like to see a lot more variety when I play in the maps. Maybe have the different locations like change with like, maybe have, for example, with the Skeld, have like 5 different versions of the Skeld where like maybe in one version navigation's in the top right and then in another it's in like the bottom left. Do something like that. This way every time we go into a game, it still kind of feels fresh, you know what I mean? You especially have to make sure that when players go into your game to play, they're not just tackled by a bunch of headaches as they try and get into the servers and have to enter the freaking codes 50 times. That you can't have that in your game. If you don't fix these clear headaches for players, they're gonna become dried out of your game and they're gonna get annoyed and your game's gonna die off. Anyways, that is Among Us, the game that has basically overtaken Twitch. If you haven't heard about this game, these are the pros, these are the cons. overall right now, I say for such a low price point, I'd say buy the game, definitely get the game, play with friends. Definitely, I hope you watch this video so you can kind of know how the game works, how to play it, and just understand that there's a lot of server issues in this game. Be prepared to tackle those server issues head on and be able to deal with the frustration of that before you play it. As always, thank you all for watching. Among Us, good game, but not perfect. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.